Welcome to Synthaholics. This is your host, David Duncan, and with me is...
Hi, David. I'm Brian. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Brian. Nice to meet
This is
you,
the first
too.
time we're meeting, actually.
Yeah,
this is the first time we're podcasting.
This is the first time we're podcasting in a really long time. Life finds a way.
That finds a way to make the podcast not
happen. To make it not happen, more so than to make it happen. We have to fight back at life to bring back the podcast.
We are victorious this week.
So, when we podcasted last, we didn't realize there was going to be a month-long hiatus.
It came up on accident. It was just...
Oh, I just figured we'd be able to course correct. Like, I figured, like it'd be 3 weeks. It'd be like, instead of every 2 weeks, it'd be like on the third week we'd get one in. Like, cause we did go see The Flash, which is the topic for today.
The Flash.
But we were like, oh, maybe we could just fit it in somewhere, and then like we just didn't fit it in on a different day, and then like I went down to Virginia, and then
I went to China.
Yeah, Brian went to China. He met with President Xi, and it was
what?
President Xi.
Yep.
President of China. I thought that's why you
went.
That's
his legit name?
Yeah.
His name's Xi?
Xi. I think it's. I'm not sure.
We're not from China. We don't know exactly what's going on there.
Yeah. So he went to China. I went to Virginia. We were busy. I actually did go to Virginia. I have no idea what Brian was doing.
I actually did go to China.
Brian was attending wakes and funerals like for every weekend for the last month. People are dropping.
Not every weekend, but from the time that we podcast from now until our last podcast, I did have to attend 2 of them.
So I mean, like, there's life has happened. Like, usually, like, if I know we're gonna be out for a specific amount of time, I'll be like, hey guys, you may not hear from us for a while. So
yeah, I mean, there's you going down to Virginia, there was
twice.
Parties, there's awakes, there's that's just stuff kept happening. It just
stuff happens, and stuff is going to continue to happen.
Well, I mean, hopefully, if it doesn't, we die.
My metabolism is stopped. Yeah. So in case we don't podcast for another couple of weeks longer than usual, I'm moving to Virginia. I mean, I hope we can podcast in 2 weeks. Got my fingers.
I hope so, too.
I got my fingers and eyes crossed because I will still be in the state 2 weeks from today. But,
who knows? Who knows?
Who knows what's gonna happen? But that's the plan. 2 weeks from today, and then hopefully 2 weeks from then. But if there's another gap, it's because I'm moving to Virginia.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
I'm moving to Virginia. So that's my personal news out of the way, and news that affects the podcast in general. So
let's move into grizzly bear sex.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the obvious segue. That's the obvious segue from my life to cocaine bear sex.
No, cocaine bear, he's dead.
Oh no, poor cocaine bear. Well, cocaine bear had children, so cocaine bear did have sex at some point.
That is true. So as many as David knows, and I know, we're big fans of Divinity, and Divinity has got a new game coming out, Baldur's Gate 3, and they showed that you can be a grizzly bear and have sex with somebody. So
is that the player character or was that an NPC?
I don't know, but it's possible.
I think the guy with the swish in his hair that was on his back. I think that was like he's one of the characters on the box. I didn't recognize the other guy.
The other guy was a bear.
Yeah, the other guy. Well, he turned into a bear. Yeah, I didn't recognize him.
That is the number one priority. But it seems like you might have to play a druid to make that happen, and I don't think I'm going to be doing that. So who knows?
Yeah. So Brian was struggling to find his class, and when he saw that trailer, he's like, "Darn it, I must be this."
Damn it! This doesn't align with my values, but I must find the grizzly bear. So yeah, that was the natural segue. The one thing that you wanted to talk about, because you're pretty pumped about this, is Starfield, man. We both watched the 7-hour Starfield direct where they just spouted off a bunch of buzzwords It's like, this is gonna be this, and this.
Collector's
And then we all
edition.
listened to it, and everybody said, "Oh yeah, this does look cool." And here we are.
Here
How do
we
you
are.
feel about Starfield, David? Because
So
we actually, even though it's been a month, we haven't really talked too much about thoughts on Starfield, I don't think.
well, it's we're keeping our our friendship sort of like standards. Like we will talk about things that interest us together off air, but like stuff we know we're gonna podcast on, we don't like get as deep into.
Yeah, generally
Typically,
that's what happens.
that's just kind of how our life goes. So Starfield. So it was a 45-ish minute um you know
Deep dive.
this display, and it was kind of boring. Like
Uh-oh.
it took like 30, it took half of it before they really started to kind of get into it. Todd didn't talk as much as I hoped he would. Todd
Well,
with
you just want to listen to him talk? What do you want from him?
Todd with his silver tongue and his sweet little eyes. I think
What's going on here?
I think part of what made the Starfield Direct not as exciting for me is because they had all the other game devs talk about it, and they looked tired as hell.
They probably are. They probably are tired.
They've been working on Starfield for such a long time.
They've been working 18-hour days for 4 years.
It's like it feels like they're like there's a gun off. It feels like there's a gun off screen, and they're having to talk about it, but they're so tired. That's as much energy as they can muster up. Although I did like the lady who was the sandwich thief. I'm like, oh man, Brian, that's your kind of gameplay, sandwich thieving.
She was like a psychopath. She was just wasn't she the one that was just like, I want to kill everybody?
I'm gonna kill everybody. I'm gonna jump on everyone's ship, and then I'm gonna steal everyone's sandwiches, and I'm gonna pile them up. I thought that was probably the most amusing part of the trailer.
She's new. She just started working on the game. She's just testing it.
She must be new. She was like probably the most high energy person other than Todd Howard. I mean, the game looks good. I'm not saying the presentation looked bad from like what they were showing. I'm excited to play the game. That hasn't changed. It's just the presentation itself was lacking some energy because I think those devs are just like worked into the ground. The game was supposed to launch over like almost a year ago. At this point. So they were like expecting to have like a break and stuff like that, and they've been working on the game for an additional year. So like they look tired, and I'm not sure if it was the best strategy to have these tired people who are just exhausted.
I just want I want the release of the one that was supposed to come out like last year.
I want the release of Redfall that was supposed to be out a year ago. Since the version that just came out is like basically pre-alpha.
Yeah,
it's basically pre-alpha. So I'm like, what did they have before? Just stick figures running around? Like,
we don't know. We're gonna have to. We want the instead of the Snyder cut, we need the Bethesda cut or whoever Arcane cut.
Oh, I guess it's the Microsoft cut now since Microsoft owns them all.
That is true. That is true. We're gonna need the Microsoft cut. I will say, here's my take on Starfield. It looks fine, but I don't like the way that the Bethesda office looks. So 0 out of 10, would not want to work there.
0 out of 10, do not want to work at.
It looks like you're in like an insane asylum. It's like all the walls were white, and they have like those. There was like panels where it looks like you're like in a spaceship, but it really is the same type of panels that you'd be in like an insane asylum. You know what I'm talking about?
It's probably to keep them safe because they're overworked.
Well, they're so overworked they had to put insane asylum padding up on the walls so they don't hurt themselves.
Well, I mean, game development's brutal. I mean, like they have crunch and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know if Bethesda practices crunch, but in general,
every company that's such a dumb argument. I get it. They have crunch. We don't want crunch. But what company outside of game development still doesn't have crunch? I still got to get stuff done by certain dates and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe game development really is the only one that has crunch, and I just am pretending I don't have any.
Well, game development, instead of like working 40 hours a week, they make you work 80 hours a week. They make you sleep on your desk at gunpoint, basically.
Well, I don't have to do that. But I guess that's what you think Todd is working that hard? Do you think he like shows up for his cool 40 and then leaves?
I don't think so. Either that or he's just like high on cocaine bear the entire time, because he is always, when he's on camera or when he's on stage, which also he's on camera because that's for E3 and not E3 now and whatnot. He's always like there and like very there and like,
Yeah, but he's like he's been doing this for a long time. He knows what he has to do.
tell
It's
me
not,
he's the Steve Jobs of Bethesda. He's like the showman. He's really good at it, which is why I like hearing him talk, because it's like
and his sweet eyes. Apparently,
don't trust his lies.
He lies to you 16 times the detail.
16 times the lies.
Multiplied. Everything he said about this game is just multiplied by a lie.
It's probably why he didn't talk as much, so you can't multiply his lies.
Realistically, there's going to be 2 planets that are populated with stuff, and it's all going to like barely work. That's what Starfield's going to be. All the other planets are empty, and you're going to need a modder to fix them. That's what's going to happen.
Yep. Well, because Microsoft made them delay it, people are saying this is going to be the most polished Bethesda game at launch. So I guess
it'll be the first one.
The first one that's had any polish at launch. So that'll be interesting.
It's not so this one's not supposed to have any bugs, right? No bugs.
Oh no, it'll have bugs. It just won't have as many.
I didn't know. I thought I've heard of like Blizzard polish. I haven't heard of Bethesda polish before. Oh man. But
oh, that's what I mean. Like Bethesda doesn't usually polish their games, but since Microsoft made them delayed a year, I guess they've had no choice but to try to polish it. Who knows?
That's what they did for
Redfall. Maybe not. Maybe I have no idea. We will find out when we play the game. I'm excited about it, but I'm trying to brace myself. I mean, in an ideal world, I would like the game to be better than Fallout 4, but
I don't know what to tell you.
Their games have been trending downward and as far as overall enjoyability, because Fallout 3 was pretty good. It had a rough ending. Fallout 4 wasn't as good a story, but they had a lot of fun gameplay systems, which kind of made up for the story being bad. And then Fallout 76 is just like,
it was the best one.
What? No, it was not.
Yeah, it was the best one.
It was bad.
You put a lot of time into that one.
I think I've got less than 5 hours in it.
Exactly. A lot of time. So, David, there's just 2 other things we got to bring up real quick, because, I did like the Wonka trailer that just came out with Paul Atreides. Paul Atreides is actually going to be, he's not actually playing Wonka, he's playing Paul Atreides in the new Wonka trailer.
So his jihad is to kill people with candy.
Exactly. I really like the trailer. I don't know what anybody else thinks about it, but I really enjoyed it a lot, and I want a reboot, I guess. Apparently, I don't know. That's not something I thought I would say.
I think it's a prequel to the original Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka, because
really,
well, yeah, because I mean the Oompa Loompa guy, Hugh Laurie, he looked a lot more like the original Oompa Loompas from the original one, and he was doing, I think, the same dance as the one from the original. So I think this is a prequel to the Gene Wilder.
You know film. The Wonka lore? You seem like you're into this Wonka lore.
I'm not. I just I refuse to watch Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka because he looks super creepy. You're the
Wonka lore, man.
I never watched it. I've seen the original many times and I enjoyed the original. So I'm hoping that this is just a prequel. It looks like it's a prequel to it. I haven't read anything about it, and this is just.
I haven't either. I watched the trailer.
This is from me watching the trailer. It seems like it's a prequel to the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory, and not the prequel to the Johnny Depp one. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm excited for it. I want to see it. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I want to see it too.
The other trailer is apparently Napoleon. That we're both like, yeah, sure, let's watch this trailer. I don't know. I think Napoleon's cool. Oh. I don't know what the people's take is on Napoleon either, but he's cool, I guess.
It's from Ridley Scott from Gladiator, and it's got Joaquin Phoenix in it. And like whenever he's got the laurel leaves around his head in the trailer, I'm like, oh, that looks like Gladiator.
Maybe that's what he's going. It's a prequel to Gladiator, or no? Yeah, it's a prequel to Gladiator.
No, it'd have to take place after Gladiator.
It takes place after Gladiator. I guess that's true. It does, I didn't think of that connection at first, but it pretty much is. It's the same guy, same head thing.
Yeah,
That is funny.
he faked his death in Gladiator, and he went to France,
And then survived a couple more years, and then did the whole thing over again.
And then he went to high school and became Napoleon Dynamite. So it's just it's just
there's a big stretch of imagination there you got to do, but as long as you're on board with us, you're good to go.
So he went from Rome to France to California.
Next one's gonna be like, what's that? Like Australia? What happened in Australia? I think there was a fight with like emus or something. The Great Emu War.
The Great Emu War, yeah, that definitely was.
Yeah, so that's the next movie.
And then the Great Sloth War.
I haven't heard about that one. So, David, The Flash. We both saw this movie together, and then before you saw it, I got roped into seeing it with you again because I already saw the movie.
Well, I was like, hey, do you want to go
I did see it twice.
It was really funny. So I hadn't seen it. Brian had already seen it because he wanted to do like a day one viewing, and I waited a little bit to see it because I didn't think we'd be able to podcast on it as soon. And I was right. It's been a month. This is an old movie now. It's already cratered in the box office. It didn't do as well as anyone was hoping it would.
It has cratered.
And I was like, oh, hey, Brian, do you want to go watch The Flash with me? He's like, absolutely not. And then I was like, well, hey, you don't have to go see it with me. I'm just offering. He's like, okay, I'll go see it with you. I'm like, I'm not bending your arm, dude. You don't have to go see it. He's like,
no, you were going to kill me. You were going to kill me.
He's like, okay, I'll go see it with you. I'm like, you don't have to see it if you hated the movie. You don't have to go see it again. But Brian did go see the movie with me.
Yep.
And
it was a treat.
It was a real treat. So Brian, since you saw this movie 2 times more than I saw it.
That's true. Can I multiply my score?
You multiply it?
Because I've seen it twice. Can I rate it like individually each time and then multiply it?
Well, that was a joke we said in the movie theater before the movie started.
Did we really?
Yes.
Oh man, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, in the movie theater before it started, you're like, I got to give this movie a 10 now because I was gonna give. You said you were gonna give it a 5, and since you saw it twice, you can add the scores together and give it a 10. That's what you were saying in the movie theater. So Brian, is this a 5 or is it a 10?
I'm gonna start off with an asterisk here. I'm gonna give it a 10 because I'm gonna give it twice. I'm gonna give it a 5 each time. So really a 5, but I did see if I went to go see the movie another time, it would be a 15. So it's pretty high.
It would break through the scale.
Yeah, it would break through the scale if I see it a third time. Thank God, though, we won't have to deal with that because I'm not gonna see this movie again. Yeah, I guess I'll give it like a 5. It was, I waited 8 years to see this movie, and this is the best we got. Everybody said it was gonna be. This is like the greatest DC movie ever created, and it turns out this is not the greatest DC movie ever created.
Did James Gunn call Scientology to blackmail Tom Cruise for something? Because they got Tom Cruise to say this is the best superhero movie ever, and then James Gunn said it. I think he got Tom Cruise to say it. He was like, "Well, this like lots of people said this was like one of the best superhero." Like, why? Why?
I know what are people saying?
Who coerced them? Did they get the Snyder cut? But and we got like whatever the James Gunn cut. Like, what happened? What happened here? Why are people saying this movie is great? And I don't understand. I've got to give it like a.
You liked it more than I did.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
Whoa. Okay.
I'll give it a 6. Like, like everyone said it was gonna be a terrible movie, so I went in with rock bottom expectations.
Nobody said it was gonna be a terrible movie. Everybody said it was gonna be a great movie.
Well, I didn't believe them all. I did not believe anyone who said this movie was going to be great because this movie was in development before Brian and I met.
That is true.
Brian and I talked about this movie ad nauseum.
I like The Flash
at our first job together, and I'm just like, I just don't think it's going to be any good. Any good.
Man, we've been talking about this for almost 10 years.
We've been talking about this movie as long as we've known each other.
Oh man, and here we are. Finally came out.
It finally came out, and it was not great. It's like, why would you
Put a baby in a microwave?
No, that actually makes sense. That tracks.
Oh, all right. That's the part. That's not the confusing.
The microwave wasn't plugged in. It's fine.
Okay.
It's just like a crib when it's not plugged in.
The CGI was your favorite part then?
No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And
gotcha. Ezra Miller's personal life was your favorite part of the movie.
Oh yeah, I mean that had to be.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, the 2 seconds of Gal Gadot was the best part of the movie.
I'm not still sure. Like, so there's the opening sequence where they're like saving a hospital or whatever, and Batman's riding around on his motorcycle. I'm not convinced Ben Affleck is actually in this movie. I feel like he just 80-yard some lines and they got another guy to play Batman. I don't think he's in the movie.
I think it was all CG. Oh, the only time he was actually in the movie is when he's leaning against his car talking to Barry out of the Batsuit.
Yeah, I'm saying when he's in the Batsuit.
Oh, that was totally all CG. I don't think he's actually there. I appreciated that it was like classic Batman colors, like the blue and the gray. I thought that was a pretty cool, like,
that's what did it for you.
A nod to old school Batman.
How many points was that? How many did you add points on for that, or just
no? I'm just saying things I appreciated about the movie. That was one of the things I appreciated about the film. And honestly, the Batman CGI is some of the best CGI in the film. The Batman CGI at the beginning of the movie.
What went wrong with the CGI? Because obviously we're not the only ones that have pointed this out yet. I'm sure people have already talked about this to death. I'm not up to date on like how it actually tracked. I watched the Flash movie, and then you and I talked about it in the parking lot after, and then I left, and that was the last time the Flash has come out of my mouth since this podcast. So,
it's like you feel shame for being a Flash fan after this film. It's like it's like the film's making me not be a Flash fan anymore.
I am no longer a fan of the Flash. Thank you very much. But I forgot what I was saying now because this Flash movie, man, it's messing with my brain.
Well, so basically the fundamental problem with the Flash movie is the same problem this entire DCEU experiment had, where they didn't take the time to build up the story. Flash, this is a squint really hard, and it's kind of a Flashpoint movie. If you squint really hard till your eyes are closed, like this is,
and then put on headphones and read the audiobook of
Flashpoint. This movie is the Flashpoint, and Flashpoint. Like I said this, I'm not a big fan of the Flash, but I'd seen the TV show. And they did Flashpoint in season 2 or season 3. They basically did their own Flashpoint. And I was like, why would you do the first Flash movie as Flashpoint? This should be like a second or third or fourth or fifth. This is like not a beginning set. And this has been the problem with the entire DCEU.
It did work out for them, though.
They did not. Oh, yes, it totally worked out. The movie cratered.
And they killed all the characters. Well, they didn't kill all the characters, but like what I mean, that like all these characters aren't coming back to like the new reboot stuff. So it's kind of like they killed off all the characters without. They're not dead. I don't know. Spoilers. Nobody really died.
I don't know. Who knows? It's just bizarre. But
you're gonna part ways with Ezra Miller.
I hope so. I hope so.
I thought he played the Flash. You didn't think he was a good Flash? I thought he was fine.
He was fine. I just don't like him that much. Ever since I saw him in the first Fantastic Beasts movie, I'm like, this guy's creepy. This is before I knew anything about his personal life. When I saw the first Fantastic Beasts movie and saw him on screen, I was like,
he was like an emo. He was like an emo guy.
I was like, what's wrong? I was like, what's wrong with him? And then like when he turned out to be like a child groomer and a child predator and kidnapped kids,
then turned out
like,
in real life.
I was like, wow, yeah, that tracks. Because like when my first impression of him when I saw him, I think the first time I ever saw him was in that Harry Potter spinoff film. I was like, ugh, what's wrong with that guy? Like he gave me bad vibes the first time I saw him, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, that tracks.
That tracks.
That tracks.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he's in the movie twice. So like this movie was I have really mixed feelings about this film, because like I wanted to give it better than a 5.
But you did.
I did. I gave it a 6. I gave it a whole thing, because the thing is, like, the movie wasn't a series of tick boxes. This movie wasn't tick boxes put the film. It wasn't like, slamming a propaganda.
You know why? It's because this movie was being made before tick box movies were a thing.
Well, no, Force Awakens was a tick box movie.
This movie was in development before that.
Well, the Force Awakens came out before I was working there, so like it
did?
Yeah. Force Awakens came out when I was still at Yahoo.
Okay, it was working its way into a modern audience, the tick box movies.
Yeah, for a modern audience, that is the tick box trend. This movie isn't a tick box movie, so I had to give it more than a 5 for, thank goodness for not being a tick box movie. But movies that aren't tick box movies can still be bad.
They're just not as bad?
It's like tick box movies just automatically just get like really low scores. But this movie was bad on its own without being a tick box movie. So it's weird. But yes, going back to what you're saying, the CGI in this film was awful, and I don't know what happened. This movie's been in development for so long.
There's just nothing we can do to save it, boss.
How could you do? And the director's excuse was so bad. Oh, it's from the Flash's point of view. Movies aren't generally shot in first person. So
what was it? Yeah, that is a pretty bad excuse.
The point of view is the audience point of view in all movies, unless there is a first person point of view, and that only happens very rarely. Sometimes the movie will put you into the actors, and they'll do like the pan shot where like the camera switches side because it's trying to be the actor's eyes because they're in a state of panic or whatever. Or in the Doom movie, where there was a whole sequence in first person, which was kind of cool, but it felt like a movie ride when you're in first person. That's fine. That is when you're in the character's POV. But when you're watching a movie, you're watching from a third person perspective 99.9% in the time in movies. So
you're just making stuff up. How long do you think it took Ezra Miller to develop the Flash run?
I think he did it once, and I think that was his first instinct, and that
was his first try.
And the director told him, and the director didn't say no. The director should have said no.
He ran really weird. I don't understand like what was going on there. The Flash doesn't need to run in a weird way to go fast. That's not what makes him go fast, is running in a weird way.
Well, the fact that he takes like 15 minutes to pose, he's like to get into and the thing was that he wasn't doing it super fast because the girl started screaming, "Oh my God, you're the Flash!"
He's taking his time,
which is
he was
weird,
looking for food,
which is weird because he was taking his time, but he still made it back before the guy finished his sandwich, even though he took like minutes to pose for the girl and then got interrupted and had to speak to her for a second, and then he did everything else he did running across.
Well, that's because he's so fast.
To Metropolis.
It didn't take any time because he's so fast.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you make a movie, right, and then you set up like the hero has a weakness, right, and the weakness is he needs food to keep going. That's when you set something up at the beginning of a movie, you expect that to pay off at the end of a movie. We call that a Chekhov's gun.
What is the heck is going to be the pay? He doesn't need to eat anymore? What is the payoff to that?
Well, no, not the payoff. It should come back at the end of the movie. Like it should like come up again where like he needs to eat, something like that. But somehow alternate Flash that hasn't discovered he needs to eat yet can time travel, run ad nauseum for 50 years and never need to eat a bite.
No, he's good.
It's like you. It's just like why would you set up that he needs to eat at the beginning of the movie and it never comes up ever again in the film? It's not. It doesn't. It has zero payoff.
It was just for the opening sequence.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
Usually, that's what's bothering you? That's the point? This is the sticking point for you? Is like he needed to eat more?
Well, no, it's like why bring it? Like it's like no, he didn't need to eat more. Like when you introduce a Chekhov's gun should come back at the end of the movie. Like this is a Chekhov's gun scenario where like something came out. Okay, so
is that entertaining though? You want to see that?
Well, you
want to see like they're in the middle of the war that's going on at the end of the movie with Zod and all that. I mean, you're like, dang, I need to eat a pancake. That's like takes away from the excitement.
Well, then don't introduce it at the beginning of the movie. I'm not saying it needed to be there at the end of the movie. I'm saying if you set it up at the beginning, there should be some sort of payoff for that. And that's the Chekhov's gun. Like when you introduce something and then it comes back up again, it's like, oh yeah, there was that thing at the beginning. And like it never. Just don't do it at the beginning, and then you don't have to worry about bringing it up later because you're breaking the lore of your own film. When he's like, "Oh, I'm too tired. I can't keep up the Speed Force," and it was like he apparently ate the day before, right?
Yeah.
But the other Flash can just time travel ad nauseum for hundreds of years and get old and never need to eat a bite. Like you're
because he was in the time loop.
So.
Yeah, he was in a time loop.
Then he shouldn't.
Speed Force. It was Speed Force, man. Yeah. That's what happens with anytime anybody has any questions about the Flash and like how's this working or why is it working this way? The answer is always the Speed Force.
Speed
Force fed him.
He needs to eat to enter the Speed Force.
No, Speed Force fed him. When he was there, he was eating. Speed Force gave him the energy he needed. So that's just how it is.
Oh, is that why the worlds were colliding? Was he just eating these other Batmans and other Superman? He just ate them, and that's why the worlds were colliding.
He was doing that for like 70 years or something like that. I mean, he turned into an old guy, so maybe one of the worlds he went and got food. And just didn't show it.
But it never came up.
It did. It didn't need to come up. One thing. What was your funniest? There was a couple jokes that did land for me. Do you have one that came out in mind in particular? Because I have one.
Ryan, I only laughed once in the entire film.
We're getting that. We're not there yet. I guess we'll be there after this. So when the new Barry, because there's two Barrys. One of them is like his previous self, and then one of them is like the actual Barry.
Yes.
When the new Barry gets the powers and he like vibrates through the floor, I got a kick out of that.
Oh, when he was when he was naked and fell through in the lake.
Yeah, like, through the floor. I got a good chuckle out of that one. For you though, you laughed at the end of the movie.
What? I laughed once, and it was the very end of the movie.
Very end of the movie when they're just showing random characters because why the heck not? And George Clooney gets out of the.
Barry thinks he's talking to Ben Affleck Batman.
But he's talking to George Clooney.
And then George Clooney gets out of the car, and that's the one time in the movie I laughed because
you were laughing pretty good at that.
We had Mr. Bat Nipples himself, George Clooney.
Yeah, I don't know why what call was that? They're like, hey, Mr. Clooney, do you want to like come get out of a car and pretend you're Batman? Okay, sounds good.
I think they asked Christian Bale to be in the movie, and he said no. So.
He's too good of an actor to say no. That's not something he would say yes to. He cares about what he's doing. I think more than I guess does George Clooney? What happened to this guy? He hasn't been in has he been in movies?
Did he go back to ER? Who knows?
He's probably been in movies. We just don't know about him.
He was in the movie with Sandra Bullock, Gravity. That's the last time.
Yeah,
that's the last time I remember.
That wasn't like last year. That was like. At least 8 years ago.
It's been a bit. I don't remember.
But yeah, but was that like the last movie he was like in?
That's the last time I saw him. I have no idea what else he's been in since.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. Yeah, I got nothing.
Um,
So, one thing that did bother me though was one of the, I don't know which Barry it was, but his laugh, the one of the Barry's laugh in the movie was like like he was like a bro laugh. That bothered me. Those are the two things that bothered me about him.
it was young Mary. It just he was just annoying.
Yeah, it was just annoying. I did like Kara,
Kara
who's
was great.
she was great.
I was
I want to see
scared.
more of her.
I was scared she was gonna be the tick box, like just girl boss, just like amazing at everything,
Well,
and she had flaws. She was a little bit upset about the state of the world, and she got killed like multiple times, and it was like, oh man, that's rough.
yeah, she was not. She was definitely not a tick box. But to be fair, most Superman like character esque people are just tick boxes. Superman's a tick box. He always has been. So she normally is because this they like butchered Flashpoint so much that it's like she became an uncheck box because they butchered Flashpoint. Like even in the there's like, how many Flash villains there are. There's probably hundreds of them because the Flash has been going on for like 100 years almost. But the villain the Barry that was like turning into like this death Flash where he kept going through the loops. That's a made up character for the movie. That wasn't even from the comic books. That's just they just made him up.
Yeah, it's like I said, you gotta squint super hard to imagine this is
Like,
flat, but it's trying to be Flashpoint.
then why didn't they make Flashpoint?
Uh,
Like we never even saw like the Reverse Flash is technically should be in the movie because he's the one that kills Barry's mother. But he just they never show anything about the Reverse Flash at all.
no,
He's the one that like pretty much starts Flashpoint.
yeah,
Essentially, I mean
yeah,
Barry starts it, but like it's the Reverse Flash is kind of the one that gets it going.
yeah.
Because if he didn't do what he did, Barry would have done what he did.
That's the whole point.
It makes no sense.
It makes no. It's why this movie's broken. Like you don't start off with Flashpoint. You got to establish because this movie had the strange task of trying to be Flashpoint and trying to be the Flash origin film, even though we've already seen him in Justice League. It's just like the movie was never going to be good because DC
doesn't
started on the wrong foot.
Oh,
DC jumped to Justice League after two movies before really introducing anything.
Well, did Wonder Woman come out before or after that Batman vs Superman movie or whatever?
I think it was.
Was her first appearance in Batman vs Superman before Wonder Woman came out?
Yes, and Jason Momoa's Aquaman was also like there was like this clips like they had.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because they had like a Batman had a file for metahumans and like you saw Gal Gadot, you saw I think Cyborg for a second, you saw the Flash for a second, you saw Aquaman so you saw like all the people that were in Justice League. So they set them up as like in a file in Batman's computer, and that was like. I think Gal Gadot like actually runs into them in Batman vs Superman. Like she goes to the Gallo or Bruce is or something or other.
Well, she's in the movie. She does go to the Gala, but she's in the movie fighting whatever Doomsday. I think it was Doomsday. That was the name of the bad guy. I don't remember. Who knows? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The DCEU is so unmemorable, except for the fact they just did everything wrong. They tried to jump to Avengers. They should have done a solo Batman movie, a solo Flash movie, a solo Aquaman movie. And then you do the team up movie. That's what works for Marvel, and that's.
And they have Robert Pattinson's Batman that they were just like, he's not part of the DC.
Yeah,
DC, like, he's his own thing.
Man, DC just has no focus. They're like a schizophrenic kid with like who's got ADHD. Is like they don't know. And then I think a lot of I don't know if Ezra Miller's personal conduct is specifically what tanked this movie. I'm sure it didn't help, but I think
it definitely didn't help. But if it was a good movie, people would have gone and seen it.
I honestly think the biggest contribution to this movie, just not doing well, is the fact that James Gunn came out
and killed the DCU
months ago. He's like, "Oh yeah, the DCU's gone. The first real movie is gonna be my Superman movie, and it's in development. I'm writing it now."
Yeah.
Even though, like, I think Blue Beetle is still technically gonna be in the new DC. It's just like
we don't know the answer to that. We don't know anything. Can you imagine this Aquaman movie that's coming out? This Aquaman movie, there's no shot this thing's gonna do good.
There's no shot this thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go see it.
It's gonna lose money. I don't know if The Flash made money or lost money, but Aquaman definitely is not gonna make money.
The Flash's almost definitely gonna lose money unless it somehow just sells gangbusters on like digital or whatever.
It might do pretty good. It might do pretty good on digital. I could see it doing pretty good on digital. The problem is people don't go to the theater because it's so expensive.
Well, yeah,
theater going to the movies is expensive.
Well, yeah, I mean, going to the movies is expensive. You know, the concessions don't get any cheaper. Those just keep going up and up and up.
The concessions have always been a lot of money, but the movie ticket itself, they're like pushing $20 just to like go to see like the normal style theater, not like anything special.
Not 40X or the one where they spray with water.
yeah, the water one.
Yeah, they got to pay extra for getting some water sprayed on you.
Yeah, that's the best part. So there is there definitely is that problem, but I wish we could see more Supergirl, Kara Danvers in it.
Well,
but
I mean, there's no reason why they just can't cast her in another thing. She's young enough to be to be.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
I hope
I'm
so.
pretty sure James Gunn is just gonna clean the slate, man.
I liked her. I liked her a lot. I don't see why they couldn't.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. You're never gonna see her again. Yeah. She was probably my favorite character in the movie.
Oh yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I liked her the most. I really liked seeing Michael Keaton as Batman as well. I liked how they explained the time travel in the film. It was probably
again, they keep doing it.
Well,
every movie keeps explaining the same thing over and over again.
Well, they explain time travel differently in this film. It was an interesting take on time travel because he explained it the way Doc Brown explained it, and he's like, no, this is not how time travel works. There's like nexus points, and the parts where they overcross, you can't really do anything about it. And some things they run parallel. I thought that was a really interesting way of explaining time travel. It was neat, although the time travel doesn't really make any sense in how the movie happens, because the evil Flash, who's all metal, is somehow already metal and kicks old Flash out of the stream, even though he's not going to get his powers.
What? What are you talking about?
Metal Flash or New Flash?
Metal Flash.
The one who all the metal chunks stuck in him. The evil bad Flash.
Yeah, okay.
He wasn't ever gonna get his powers because Barry's intention was to run to the present. Barry did not intend to stop 2 years in the past or whatever it was. He was kicked out by past Flash or Metal Flash with all the metal stuck in his body. Well, that Flash wouldn't have been created.
I have no idea what you're saying.
That Flash, the young Flash, the new Flash wouldn't be created unless Barry stopped in the time. But Barry wasn't planning on stopping in the time. The Metal Flash kicked him out of the bubble so that he would be in the time to create him.
Got it.
So the Metal Flash's origin doesn't make any sense because he didn't originate till Barry stopped, but he wouldn't have stopped unless he kicked him out.
The Metal Flash doesn't matter. It's just a made-up character.
Yeah, I know, but like the setup for the film doesn't super. Like I wish he would have just stopped a year or two on his own, because then you don't have you don't have the logical fallacy of the guy existing before he exists.
David, my friend, there's so much more trouble like this. Like, there's so much more issues than like this time traveling not working out for you. There's
Name one.
one issue with the movie.
Yeah.
The CGI.
Well, we already discussed the CGI. It was terrible throughout the entire film, except for the Batman. I mean, the Batman moments was still kind of not great, but the earlier Batman moments were some of the best CGI in the
Michael
film.
Keaton wasn't Bruce Wayne's dad.
What?
That's what I wanted. I wanted Michael Keaton to be a different version of Batman, where he was actually Batman's dad. Because in Flashpoint, there is Bruce Wayne dies, and Batman's replaced with his dad. I wanted that to happen.
Oh,
that didn't happen.
Well, we knew it wasn't because it was going to be Michael Keaton's Batman. That was the whole draw of the movie.
I was hoping they were going to like do a switch and bait and be like, actually, he's Arthur Wayne or whatever the heck. I think it's Arthur Wayne.
Thomas Wayne.
Thomas Wayne, yeah. I was hoping that they were just like, I'm Thomas.
They were gonna, that was the whole draw of the film. Like, because I was probably going to skip the movie, and then they showed Michael Keaton.
Really? That's what did it for you?
Yeah, that is a lot of the reason I went to go see the movie, because I really like.
Well, you were going to have to see it because I was going to force you to podcast on this, so you didn't have a choice.
Oh, that's true. But like, if we're up to me, and if we weren't podcasting on it, I personally would have skipped the film. Michael Keaton's Batman is what made me kind of excited to go see it. Yes.
Well, the movie had some funny moments, not for you, but I thought some of them were entertaining. The story was pretty bad. The acting was okay, and the CGI was some of the worst I think I've seen for a movie. It is the worst I've seen for a budget of like $500 million.
Yeah, I don't know where the money. I don't know where the money went.
I wouldn't recommend going to see this movie.
Oh, I absolutely would not recommend.
I wouldn't even go. Don't rent it or anything. Just don't watch it.
It doesn't matter. I mean, James Gunn came out and just said none of the movies coming out until my movie comes out matter.
So Superman.
Why would you? I mean, I don't understand the strategy. Like,
well, he probably doesn't care about these movies either, to be fair, because they're not his or anything.
Well, sure, I understand that, but like,
I would.
The studio though, like the studio's got to know that announcement he was gonna make. Like, I don't know if he did it on his own without the studio's approval.
They had to get his approval. I'm sure they had to get their approval. But from James Gunn's perspective, I think it worked out for him because he's gonna want to make sure people know that he's distancing himself from these movies because he knows they're gonna be bad. I'm sure he knows they're not gonna do good.
Except for the fact that he's like, The Flash is the best superhero movie I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, dude, Guardians 1 is a better superhero movie than this. By leaps.
Wait, you don't like Guardians 1?
I said Guardians 1 is a much better movie than this by leaps and bounds.
Oh, for sure. Wait, then Flash?
Yes, it's way better than the Flash.
Oh, it's way better.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that James Gunn, the guy that brought us Guardians of the Galaxy 1, which is probably one of my favorite Marvel films. It's in the top.
That movie pretty much changed how Marvel does movies.
It's in my top 5.
Yeah.
Probably of Marvel films. The fact that this guy who made that movie is like, oh yeah, The Flash is definitely one of the best superhero. Like, it's just like, don't lie to me.
How much he had to get paid or something? There's no way he thinks this like. He was on, like, if there's a James Gunn interview or something, I like watching him because I do, like, I find, like, what his interests and stuff, I also have similar interests to him. So, the things he, like, says, like, in his interviews and stuff, it's like, it sounds cool. It sounds like, you know, this is something that people should keep an eye on or whatever, is because it's something he likes. But that is weird that he would, like, he had to take money or something. There's no way he actually thinks this is a good movie. There's just no way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's like Todd Howard lies in a special way, where it's like you kind of know he's lying, but you can tell he's being genuine. James Gunn is like, this lie was just so like
it's a good way. Maybe we're like messing up with what he actually said.
No, he said it was like one of the best films he'd ever seen, like or one of the best superhero movies he'd ever seen. It was something to that fact that I'm like, you're just. I think he said that
I'm not.
because
I feel like I'm not sure anymore.
my projection is that he said that so that people would go see it because he knew his announcement's going to tank the budgets. So
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think him saying that is just a lie to try to get people to go see it.
It could be.
So the budget didn't tank as bad as his announcement was going to make it. It doesn't matter what you say. Once you come out and say all the movies that are about to come out don't matter until my movie comes out, you've automatically just killed excitement for these movies.
Yeah.
It's just they should have just canceled them outright like they did with Batgirl. There's no point. Like if
Well, then didn't Batgirl get like people just like gave up on Batgirl because the people that were it was being like reviewed like internally or whatever, and people were just like, "This is absolutely terrible."
oh it was a
Scrap
tick
it.
from what I understand, Batgirl was going to be a tick box movie, a very very hard tick box movie. So they just canceled it. Um,
Yeah.
I guess the Flash, Aquaman, and Blue Beetle aren't tick box movies, so they didn't cancel them because they're not tick box movies. But just cancel them. Like if they don't matter,
Just get rid of them.
just get rid of them. Because I mean, the thing is, movie budgets aren't just the cost of making the movie. They spend like a half to a third of the budget, or numbers I keep seeing online,
Sure.
advertising the film. And so your $250 million movie turns into $375 million just from advertising. And if the movie's more,
Yeah.
then the advertising is still adding 100, 150, 125 million onto, which just blows my mind that just the cost of advertising is like half or a
Is
third of the
that
film.
crazy?
That blows my mind. And the fact, like, just like, why spend you're gonna spend more money advertising than these movies are
The
gonna
movie's gonna
make.
make. That is funny. I mean, sometimes the advertising's not even factored into the budget. Sometimes it
They
is. Sometimes it
don't.
is.
The
Yeah.
budget of the film is a separate number, but there's a marketing budget that's not in that stat,
That's
which
yeah.
people keep throwing around. I see it all the time lately on the internet with these movies bombing lately. People are saying that the budgeting. I mean, it's not from me. I'm not. I'm just quoting what I hear from other people online. That budgeting is like for marketing is about half or a solid chunk of cost of the film that you add on top of the cost that they report.
Generally, yeah.
So these are like these movies aren't making any money. Like why? They're not making back their base cost. So why even put them out? It's going to cost more money to advertise these movies than they're probably going to make. Like just stop advertising them and don't put them out. Like pull the rug. Even if they are tick box movies, if they don't matter to what James Gunn is setting up for the future of DC films, no one wants to
Yeah.
see that. Like I mean, like like I don't want to see any other DC movies until his movie comes out. Like Aquaman 1 was okay.
I don't want to see Aquaman 2 at
I
all.
have
I don't
zero.
know exactly what's coming out. I mean, yeah, I don't think I want to see anything till Superman either.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't think of
there's
anything that's coming out though besides Aquaman and Blue
Blue.
Beetle.
Yeah.
If
Uh,
Blue Beetle gets like good reviews, maybe
yeah, maybe.
I'll go see it because I don't know much about Blue Beetle. So
I know
I'd be
I know
yeah,
nothing about Blue Beetle, but
exactly.
the fact that and I knew nothing about Shazam, and I saw the first Shazam, and it was fine. It was pretty good. I mean, I didn't know anything about it, but Shazam 2 just didn't look good, and the fact that they said it was dead, it just I have no interest in seeing something that's not going to continue.
You ready for the hot take?
Yeah, go ahead.
Flash is better than the past like 4 MCU movies besides Guardians 3.
Absolutely. That's not even a hot take because the entire Phase 4 was a tick, or they were all tick box films.
Granted, we didn't see well the ones I've seen. This one's better than the ones I've seen because you and I are starting to fall behind now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
After what was the last one we saw? Thor? Did we see Thor?
Yeah.
I think that was the last one we saw.
That was the last one we saw, and the last one we talked
Yeah.
about, I think.
I will say, anybody go watch Spider-Verse. That's a good Marvel movie. Those Spider-Verse movies are insane. But yeah, The Flash, man, it's not good.
So one thing I wanted to bring up before we do close is superhero fatigue.
Oh, the age-old topic.
The age-old topic, superhero fatigue. Is superhero fatigue a thing? What is your take?
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. I think it's crap movie fatigue. I think it's tick box fatigue.
Yeah, I think it's making bad movies and then on top of the price it is to see these movies. I think that's what it is. Because it really, like, I'm like in a, you know, most people are living paycheck to paycheck, right? They can't afford to go to the movies, so they can't see any of these movies in the first place. And on top of that, why risk paying $20 to go see a movie when it's not good? Like, I go see movies a lot, but I also have the luxury to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't like any of the movies I go see in the first place. So why would somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck be like, okay, I'm going to go spend $20 on going to see Shang-Chi?
Or if they're married and have kids, $100.
Yeah, it's just not affordable.
$100 or more dollars to go see a movie. When you can
exactly. When a family of 4 goes sees Flash, it's over $100.
And you can rent something off of Amazon for $5.
Yeah, or just use your Netflix subscription that everybody says they have.
Or you could go buy a physical movie from Walmart or Target for $20
in the bargain bit.
Or less.
Could already be good.
Yeah, I mean, you're. Yeah, it's the economics of going to see films is just getting out. You
gotta figure something out.
It's getting out.
There was an interview with Steven Spielberg, like 2010, and he was saying he's like, if we continue on this, like it's gonna take. He was like, it's gonna take like 5 huge big budget movies that are all gonna bomb. And then out of nowhere, it's just going to be unaffordable to go to the theaters. Exactly what Steven Spielberg said in like 2010 is what's happening right now. He pointed out the price of the tickets, the quality of the movies, how the movies are going to be written. He saw it all coming, which is crazy. I guess he was.
Oh, he's
in
the business. But I mean, like tick box movies are just not financially sound decisions. Just everything Disney's put out has been awful. Indiana Jones is being run into the ground. Elemental from Pixar is run into the ground. I don't know
what that is.
It's a new Pixar movie. It's called Elemental. It's also not doing very well at all.
But then you have movies like Puss in Boots. That wasn't a tick box movie. There was a Puss in Boots movie that was based on the Shrek character. Yeah, did super good because it wasn't a tick box movie. It was also a very good movie as well.
And Super Mario Brothers, also not a tick box movie.
That one's got a little bit more going for it because it's a Nintendo thing.
But still, like the fact that like when a movie tries to entertain you, Top Gun, that movie made gangbusters money.
Well, that's Tom Cruise. Like some of these aren't fair to like Puss in Boots. I think is fair to compare. Mario movies probably fair to compare, but movies like with Tom Cruise and stuff, Tom Cruise is like he has a certain quality level for the stuff that he's doing. He has a lot of control over these movies. He knows what he's doing. He's probably the best action actor ever.
He's like the last true movie star.
He's the last bastion.
He's the last true movie star.
For like action movies.
Left, yeah. It's just it's just
like even Leonardo DiCaprio. Like he was, you know, he did like Wolf of Wall Street, and then after he was doing like different movies, and now what I feel is the movies he's done for the past like 10, maybe a little bit more than that, it's always something based on like a mafia, like something to do with slavery. This is totally off topic, but like he's not doing like the different types of movies anymore, which is probably why people don't go and see like his stuff anymore because it's the same thing over and over again. He just makes the same type of mafia movie. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, like,
make good movies, man. Just make good movies that are entertaining. Oppenheimer. That's probably going to be a good one because Chris Nolan does that kind of thing.
Oh, I'm really excited for Oppenheimer. I'm super pumped. And the
Chris
last podcast on the
doing.
left is doing a series on Oppenheimer as well.
Well,
So
it's gonna be a good movie.
mm,
Chris Nolan knows what he's doing. He makes those weird, interesting movies.
yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Oppenheimer.
Comes out
I can't wait for
next
that.
week.
Next
That's
week?
probably what we'll. Yeah, I think it's next week.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I mean, that might be the next thing, or if it's not, it depends on how it falls with our schedule.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Tentative Oppenheimer may be next in our
Oppenheimer.
podcast. Who knows?
Give me
if we can
Oppenheimer.
podcast.
Yeah.
The lives are changing.
Lives are changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. I am very much looking forward to that. But yeah, superhero fatigue, I don't think it's a real thing. I think it's bad movie fatigue. Tick box fatigue. I think that is more real. A problem. I mean, Book of Boba Fett was terrible. Mandalorian season 3 was terrible. It's just like everything, everything Disney's putting out lately is just like near unwatchable. Like,
it's not just Disney. I mean, make a good movie and people will go see it.
But the thing is, Disney is such a monolith. They put out so much stuff and everything. Because they're putting out kids movies and Star Wars movies and Indiana Jones movies and animated movies. They've got a huge gambit of films. They're coming out relatively often, and they're just all terrible. Like all of what
I would love to just like interview James Cameron. I'd love to. We got to get him on this podcast and just ask him like, what does James Cameron think needs to be done to fix the movie industry? There's nobody better to ask. There's nobody better. He's number one.
I don't know. Like the thing, I can't agree with that because I mean, Avatar 2 was fine, but I mean, I don't. But
it made bank. It's the third highest grossing movie of all time.
I know. I know, but like
he knows what he's doing. He owns the first spot, the third spot, and the fourth spot.
I know, but the thing is, like, I don't.
He knows how to make a popular movie.
He knows how to make a movie that makes money. I don't know if they're popular because the thing is, like,
they have to be popular. What do you mean? That's not how that works. They are popular because they're making money. If they weren't popular, they wouldn't make any money. People just don't talk about them. You go watch it, you enjoy it, and leave.
It's just such a weird thing because I mean, Avatar 1 was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I think I appreciated it more. I appreciate it a lot more now after seeing so many tick box films. And Avatar 1 is really good, but at the same time, like, I don't have like a desire to go back and watch it a bunch. Like, it's just.
Well, you're gonna watch you're gonna watch the 9-hour cut of Avatar 2, so you got that to look forward.
There's Avatar 2, which was okay. I didn't think it was great. Titanic, I mean, it was visually impressive. I mean, all his movies are visually impressive. Like, James Cameron makes money because his movies are always visually impressive. But I mean, my favorite James Cameron movie is Terminator 2.
Yes.
Oh. I watched that movie a bunch. I love Terminator 2. It's a very well done movie. And it's entertaining, and it's thing, like, to me, that's his best film.
His magnum opus is Terminator 2.
Well, it's his most.
What about Aliens?
Oh yeah, I say okay. Aliens and Terminator 2 are his most watchable films.
Watchable? You don't think Avatar is watchable? Come on now.
Watchable as in, I'm willing to watch it over and over again. Like Avatar, I don't care to watch it over and over. Like, I've seen Avatar twice, no, 3 times. Saw it twice in the theater, and because I wanted to see it in 3D, and then I saw it in 2D, and then I got the Blu-ray and I watched it with Kaylee. So I think I've only seen Avatar 3 times.
I mean, that's like 8 hours.
That's a long time.
It's like 8 hours on Pandora.
That is a very long time. But that's the thing. Like, I've seen Terminator 2 like 10, 15 times, and I still probably wouldn't I'd still probably watch it again. Aliens, I haven't seen as many times. I've seen Aliens probably like 4 or 5 times. I wouldn't mind watching it again. It's a great movie. But like his top 3 movies, his top 3 high grossing movies, I have next to no desire to want to watch them multiple times.
That's all right.
Which is why I know you say they're popular, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't think they're popular. They're not movies.
They are. I mean, by definition, they are popular.
They're not movies.
You have to find a new word.
They're not movies I would want to watch multiple times.
That doesn't mean popularity.
It means good quality.
It means that's enjoyment. That's it. You're looking for the word enjoyment. Okay, you watch it more because you enjoy it more.
Yeah, they're not as enjoyable films. They're popular because they made money, but they're not as enjoyable films as some of the other ones.
There we go.
They're more enjoyable than tick box films. That's why I don't know if we should ask James Cameron, because James Cameron will just say throw $800 million at the wall and make the most prettiest movie you've ever made. Yes, that's James.
He definitely has more thoughts than just that. He definitely does. There's no way because he knows there's no way any company's just gonna be like, yeah, here's $800 million. People don't got James Cameron money. They don't got that kind of money.
But that's the thing. I mean, the only thing Flash theoretically had going for it was that could have been a really cool popcorn special effects driven spectacle, but the CG was so bad it wasn't even that.
It had its moments.
Yeah, it was fine. I didn't hate the film. It was fine, but yes. it wasn't great, and it was bordering on not good, and the bad CG. Because if the movie had watchable CG, and if it was a spectacle, a tentpole movie, because that's what Avatar was. It's a tentpole movie. It looks good. Yeah. You just get immersed. You just get washed over you. And the Flash is anything but immersive, because the CGI just pulls you out of it every single minute of the film. Because there's something weird about the CG all the time. The babies looked horrifying.
Well, yeah, not the greatest. I don't know what that. We're just kind of like tearing the movie down at this point. I don't know what more to say. We're just killing the movie now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just James Gunn, he killed the movie by announcing all of his movies and saying they don't matter.
Hey, hopefully his Superman movie's good. If anybody's not going to make a tick box movie, it's not going to be James Gunn. He's not going to make a tick box movie. He made Teeth.
Yeah. Let's hope Superman's good. But
Didn't he start as a porn director? I think he started as a porn director.
I mean, good on you. Sure. Good on you, James Gunn.
I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like if you're going to do that, you're not going to make a tick box movie.
You should check out his body of work, Brian, and report back. Let us know.
I can do that.
Let us know his earliest work.
I'll let you know next time.
Was Racket Raccoon in any of
them? Maybe. I don't know.
His brother Sean Gunn just dressed up as a raccoon in the background.
Maybe. I'll have to get back to you.
Well, people are going at it. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, we're back. I hope. I mean,
we're back for today.
We're back for today.
Well, we're back for the time for you're listening or watching this.
Yeah.
The next time, I'll talk to the future people. If you're watching this right now, and it is August 14th, 2023. There might be a new podcast that you're not listening to the newest one right now. There might be one that's newer than this one. You're going to have to check that one out, because that seems, hopefully, if all things go according to plan, we will make one after this one.
Yeah, Oppenheimer, woohoo!
I'm trying to confuse the timeline here because, Speed Force.
Oh yes, definitely confuse the timeline. That's how we do it here on Synthaholics. Well, thanks so much for listening. Thank you, Brian.
Email David at synthaholics@yahoo.com.
Thank you for coming out of the Speed Force to talk to me today.
You're welcome. Back I go. The background is actually just the Speed Force going, and I just have it paused right now.
That's this time travel sphere.
Yeah. As soon as I shut this down,
which is better CG than the film.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I put a lot of work into it because it's real. This isn't CG. This is what it actually looks like.
Yeah, you're actually the Speed Force as we speak. All right. Well, until next time, live long and prosper. Let's get out of superhero fatigue. Let's get out of bad movie fatigue. Let's get into good movies. Let's do it. Until next time. Oh, season 2, September 1st. That's gonna be Wow,
Yeah.
it's gonna be something.
It'll be good.
I don't know if good is the something it's gonna be, but it's gonna be something. All right,
Great.
guys. Until next time, Synthaholics out.